The CDC believes it's likely that flu viruses and the virus that causes COVID-19 will both be spreading at the same time this fall. So that means getting a flu shot to prevent the additional burden of flu-related illnesses going to be more important than ever. And joining us more to talk about all of that is Jennifer Clark-Connor with ProHealth Physicians over in Manchester. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, of course, this is a major topic of discussion, a lot to talk about, but I want to start off with an overview here. So how has this pandemic affected healthcare systems across the country, especially when it comes to these immunization services?
So unfortunately, over the last several months, there's been a lot of people avoiding care or not getting out and seeking care. And unfortunately, the immunization rates, especially for children, has decreased. We're really doing a strong push to make sure that people do get their flu shots this year. So we definitely want to make sure that people are getting out now to get their flu shots.
Right. And talking about at the start of this pandemic, there was a lot of talk about how the flu and COVID-19 may be similar. But now that we know more about COVID-19, what are the major differences between the two people should be looking out for?
So both the flu and COVID-19 are caused by viruses, although different viruses, and they can have very similar characteristics. So fever, sweats, chills, body aches, cough, runny nose, sore throat. But COVID-19 also carries with it some problems breathing, including shortness of breath. Occasional people have a loss of taste and smell, and even diarrhea.
And talking about the flu specifically, who should be getting a flu shot this year, and why is it so important, especially this year? I'm sure that's self-explanatory, but if you could explain.
Right. So everyone over the age of 6 months should be getting a flu shot, including those who are considered at high risk. So those who have lung issues like COPD and asthma, people who have diabetes, people who have heart disease. But really, it's everybody over the age of 6 months. The flu vaccine can prevent influenza. And if you do end up with getting the flu this season, after a flu shot, your potential case of having the flu is typically a lot lower. And it can also help to preserve our hospital resources for those who unfortunately may come down with COVID.
There are a lot of people at home watching right now who may be wondering whether the flu shot is going to help prevent COVID. What do you say to that?
So the flu shot does not prevent COVID. The flu shot is specifically towards influenza, although they are still viruses. They are different viruses. As you've been hearing about, the COVID vaccine, those are pending, but the flu shot will protect you against the flu and not COVID, unfortunately.
Right, and I'm sure a lot of other people are wondering whether that you can get the flu and COVID at the same time, if that's possible. Is that possible, and what would that look like?
It is possible, and we're not entirely sure what it's going to look like, if you're going to have worse symptoms or just the same symptoms. However, if you do get the flu shot, that's typically one less test that we really have to do. We can do both the flu test and the COVID-19 tests simultaneously. However, if you do get the flu shot, you'll have less of a chance of getting both COVID and flu at the same time.
Important information. Jennifer Clark-Connor, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, have a great day. All right.